Hey everyone, I hope you all are doing really well. Welcome back to the channel CMA Tutor. As promised, I'm starting with the part 1 revision sessions for CMA US. So if you would have seen on the screen, it's cost management section D. Understand this. The right method to get started with part 1 is either you start with cost management, which is section D, or you can start with the section A, financial statement reporting. Now, why I'm taking cost management is because there are many students who came up to me stating that this is the place where they are finding it really difficult. So it will be really helpful for them, even if you are going to give your examination in June. Cost management is a tricky part for you, then this video, this session will be best for you. So before starting this particular session, I would like to say you that I have divided this session into 2 parts. So the first part will be covering cost accounting concepts and the major important things, overall view of cost management concepts. And also we'll be doing cost accumulation methods, where is job order costing, process costing, batch costing, etc. like this, life cycle costing and activity-based costing. So while we'll be doing the concept, we'll also be doing some MCQs related to it. So make sure that you are there in the session till the end so that you get all the value. So there are few MCQ sessions which I'm going to do based on this. If you are looking forward for it, I'm really happy for it that you're going to give your examination and I'm going to be helpful for you in your preparation. So to get started with cost management, the first and foremost thing is understanding a direct versus indirect cost. A direct cost is something which is directly attributable to the product. Something which is directly attributable to the product, that's a direct cost. Now, what all things can come under a direct cost? Comes direct material, direct labor, direct overhead, or you can also call it direct expense. So let me just write it down so that it becomes more visually appealing for you guys to understand. So anything which is directly attributable to the product, okay, directly attributable to the product comes into my direct cost, and something which is not directly attributable to the product, but in an indirect way, it adds value to the product, it comes under indirect cost. Now, also, there will be slight confusion in product, period, direct, indirect. So I would want you guys to be clear here itself. So I assume that you guys have already taken classes somewhere and you've already done most of the work. And here you're just for your revision. That's why I'm not going to go in detail in here. So let's just go forward now. Then comes in manufacturing cost versus non-manufacturing cost. Now, what all things comes under manufacturing cost? If I have to state it, manufacturing will be all the costs which are related towards the manufacturing of the product. If you can say, the direct material, direct labor, direct overhead, these all things will be coming in under the manufacturing cost. Now, in this manufacturing cost, understand this, there will be stuff like, factory rent. Okay, something like this, factory rent. Now, where will this factory rent go? Manufacturing or non-manufacturing? It will be going towards the manufacturing cost itself. And under which one? Under direct expenses, something like this, it will be coming in. It won't be coming under non-manufacturing cost. Now, there are always instances we will be undergoing some questions. We will also be doing some questions. While doing those questions, we will come forward with these particular topics also, where I'll be trying it to cover up. Then non-manufacturing cost will be your selling expenses, your marketing expenses, and you can say your distribution, selling, marketing, administration. These all type of expenditure come under non-manufacturing cost. So let us just move forward with it now. Then comes product versus period cost. Now, this is really, really important for you guys, because this is going to be also differentiated when you're using the absorption costing and variable costing. I'm not going to dwell into it more, because absorption costing and variable costing is really, really important for your examination. And I'm going to do that in the next session, not in this session. So product versus period cost, just understand this. Product cost is that cost which is inventoriable cost. Okay. You can put it as an inventory, whereas those costs which does not get into the inventory, that is my period cost. Now, in most instances, it is the fixed cost. Okay, it's a fixed cost which comes under the period cost. Fixed selling, fixed administrative stuff will come under the fixed cost under the period cost, whereas the product cost, it will be inventoriable cost. Now, understand this. What all comes under the product cost? It will be all direct cost directly related towards the product will be in the product cost. Then would be your direct, even your fixed, okay, your fixed manufacturing cost will be coming under the product. Under which method? It would be under absorption method. Whereas under variable costing, marginal costing, whatever you call it, direct cost would be like, directly attributable to the product which will be there, that will be taken. Variable direct manufacturing cost will be there. But fixed manufacturing cost, okay, fixed manufacturing cost will not be coming under the variable costing method where you record the product cost. This will come towards the period cost. I hope you guys are getting it. There are slight difference between these two. Okay. Direct material, direct labor, direct overhead is going to be the product cost. Either it is absorption costing or variable costing, it will be that. Now coming up towards fixed manufacturing overhead or fixed manufacturing cost. Now fixed manufacturing cost, if you're taking the absorption costing, it will be added towards your product cost. If you're taking the variable costing, it won't be added towards your product cost. And then it gets added towards your period cost, and it goes on all other costs like, fixed selling administration and stuff. These all stuff will be going towards your period cost, which will be attributable over the period of time, not directly towards the product. I hope you guys are getting clarity over it. If yes, then you guys can put down a yes in the comment section or in the live chat section if you're watching it right now. Let's just move forward. Now comes here cost behavior. Now what cost behavior it is? Now variable cost. Understand this. Variable cost is that cost which changes. Okay, sorry. The total cost, the total variable cost is something which changes as the production changes. Suppose it's simple. Okay, I want to buy 100 iPhones. One iPhone is costing me $1,000. Okay. Now, if I'm ordering 100, it is 100 into 1,000. If I'm ordering 100 units, it's 100 into 1,000. If I'm ordering 50 units, it is 50 into 1,000 units. So what's happening here is my cost, okay, my cost, the variable cost per unit is remaining the same. Whereas the cost, the total cost is changing. It is increasing as the units are increasing. It is decreasing as the units are decreasing. The total cost is decreasing and increasing with the units change. Whereas what's not changing is the per unit cost, which is variable. Now, in that same manner, suppose if I'm ordering this 100 units and I'm ordering it through the transportation cost. Suppose the transportation cost is going to be $2,000. Okay, suppose I'm bringing it from somewhere or the other. I'm just putting it for you guys. $2,000 is the transportation cost. Now, this fixed cost, this total fixed cost will remain the same. Whereas, suppose I'm ordering 100 units, what would be my per unit fixed cost? It will be 2,000 divided by 100. I'll get my per unit cost. Suppose, okay, if I'm ordering 50 only, then what it is? 2,000 divided by 50. Here, what's happening is, here it was somewhere around less here. Here it is increasing. So the point here is my fixed cost per unit, okay, fixed cost per unit changes. In fact, it decreases if the production is increasing. And it increases if the production is reducing or the order size is reducing. My fixed cost per unit is changing with the production which is going up and down per unit. Whereas the total is remaining the same. I hope you guys are getting it. This is what is with the variable cost and fixed cost. Now, you'll also be finding out some type of cost, which is a mixture of both. Like they are variable and fixed. And you'll not be able to know that how much portion is variable and how much portion is fixed. And suppose you're paying electricity bill, okay? Under electricity bill, there will be some portion which will be fixed and some portion which will be variable. Okay, some portion which will be fixed, some portion which will be variable. Now, if there's a question which is coming to you and asking you how much is the fixed portion, how much is the variable portion, now that's a challenge for you. And to, for that challenge, what do we have is we have our high and low method. Let's just go forward towards it, which is high and low method here. Now, high and low method, what happens in here? The high and low method says that the cost at the highest level of activity minus the cost at the lowest level of activity. Now, to find out what? Variable cost per unit. It's a formula. The cost at highest activity, level minus the cost at lowest activity level divided by highest activity level minus lowest activity level. I hope that you guys are having that. I see I'm not doing it on a specific material. I'm not using Glime right now. The reason being is that I am having students who are using Hog, Glime, Wiley, so many other materials. So to keep everyone on the same page, I'm just starting with section D. I'm putting in all the topics, all the content which is related, which will be really important for you, which is really important for you to revise at this point of time. I'm putting it straightforward for you. So I hope you're having the material and you're having the formula, and that's the reason I'm not writing this formula again. So here, the reason of putting down this formula is to find out the variable cost per unit. Now, once you find out the variable cost per unit, what will happen is there you will be having, let's just take an example. Suppose I'm having 100 units of production and the total cost of it is 1,200. Then I'm having 300 units of production and the cost of it is somewhere around 4,000. And then I'm having 500 units of production and my total cost is somewhere around 4,500 per unit. So what I can do here is I can take this highest and lowest activities. So basically, what is the cost at highest activity? 4,500. So what do I take? 4,500 minus 1,200 and I divide it by 500 minus 100. So I hope that if you're having a calculator, if not, then I have my own calculator. Let me just put it because I've just made it up. So 4,500 minus 1,200 is equals to 3,300 divided by 400. So 3,300 divided by 400 is equals to 8.25. Now I request each and every one of you to have a calculator. I don't know where my calculator is. Maybe I've given it to a student. I'm using my mobile phone, but please make sure that you have a calculator with you. And also you should be having a book with you to do all the rough work. Okay. I hope that you guys have it all the time so that you do all that rough work, because in your examination, you would be given a scratch paper for it. Okay. So here, what do I find out is my 8.25. What is this? My variable cost per unit. Okay. So what can I do here? I can do 100 multiplied by my variable cost per unit, which is 8.25. Okay. When I do this 8.25, what do I get? Is my variable cost, which is 825, and my total cost here is 1,200. So 1,200 minus 825 is my fixed cost, and you guys can calculate and know it. So basically, I just found out what is my variable cost, which is 825. My total cost is 1,200, and the balance will be my fixed cost. I hope you guys are clear with this particular concept. High and low method, one of the easiest one. In fact, this is going to be a part of a bigger question. Okay, suppose you're going to get a bigger question, and in that, a smaller version of a question will be the high and low method. I hope everybody is following up. Let me just clear this off, and then we move forward towards some really important topic, which is cost accumulation systems. Now, under cost accumulation system, it's pretty clear. We are going to do job order costing. We are going to do process costing. We are going to do activity-based costing and life cycle costing. Now, in this, I'm not going to go in depth. In fact, I would be touching those things where you would be, and in an overview manner. Suppose if you are learning it for the first time, it will be in an overview manner. Suppose you've left it in your preparation and cost accounting was different for you, difficult for you. You've left it in your preparation, then this is what it is for you. A little bit of overview, and then we will be doing some questions related to it and moving forward. So let me just go forward towards the first one, which is job order costing. Now, what comes under job order costing? Just understand this. This is always done for those specific orders. Okay. Now, if there is any specific order, now, for example, you're constructing a home. Okay. Now, when you're constructing a home, how do you construct it? How do you cost for it? There will be separate materials, labor, overhead, indirect cost, direct cost. Now, when you are going to make this home, what is going to be the cost of the home? Now, to find that out, what is the best method? It is going to be job order costing. And why job order costing and not the process costing or something like that? Because this is just one single premium unit, or this is just one unit. It will be different towards others. Most of the times when you do these housing type of stuff for people, when they make it a lot of in a customized way so that it is good for themselves only. So it won't be similar to other people. Okay, that's the reason we do it in this job order costing. Or suppose you have to make 100 units of a pen. Okay, you have to make a pen, 100 units pen, a pen of 100 units. So what you can do, you can use the same job order costing, or you can also call it batch order costing. It is going to be the same. There's no concept, there's no methodology here. What you have to do is just cost the total product, and that's how you will come towards your job order costing. So now what I'll be doing here is why don't we just go ahead and search for some questions and try doing it. In fact, I have planned a few questions for this job order costing. I just jotted down and I put it there. So let me just go ahead there and have a look at it if that's available. Okay, process costing, we are coming towards it. Before that, let us just go towards solving a question. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so I hope that this is properly visible to you guys. This is a question based on job order costing. Now, whenever we have this type of questions, what we have to do, I hope you guys are following up with me on my previous sessions also. We have to read the requirement. The accountant calculated the inventory cost of this order to be 4.3 per unit. The annual budgeted overhead in dollars was, okay, so he's asking what is the overhead. Okay, so basically what is the overhead related towards it. So now, Baldwin Printing Company uses a job order costing system and applies overhead based on machine hours. Okay, so he's applying overhead based on machine hours. A total of 150,000 machine hours have been budgeted for the year. During the year, an order of 1,000 units was completed and incurred the following. Okay, so you have been budgeted with 150,000 machine hours. 150,000 machine hours is being budgeted, and the direct material cost is 1,000. Direct labor cost is 1,500, and the actual overhead is 1980, and the machine hours which has been levied on it is 450. Now he's asking only what is the overhead. If you just see, the inventory cost is 4.3. Now when the inventory cost is 4.3, how much is this for the how much is the total overhead? So first of all, what we can do, this 4.3 is there with us, right? For these 100,000 units. Let us see what is the material cost and labor cost and remove this type of cost from here first. So 1,000 units divided by 1,000, which is the direct material cost, is equals to 1. So my direct material is 1. Out of this 4.3, 1 is direct material. And how much is direct labor is 1,500 divided by 1,000, which equals to 1.5. So 1.5, and my total cost is 4.3. So 4.3 minus 2.5. So for this stuff, we should be using our calculator. Yeah, 4.3 minus 2.5. It is 1.8. Now the annual budgeted overhead in dollars, So we have our machine hours. Okay, machine hours is budgeted 150,000. what would be the value of it? 150,000 multiplied by 1.8. If I do, I don't think so I'm going to get the right answer. Why? Because this is per unit and he's having per hour. So per unit and per hour, if I multiply, I won't be getting it. So if you just see here, my actual overhead is 1980 and the machine hours taken for it is 450. If I just do that, 1980 divided by 450 gives me 94. No, that's not right. If you just see this, 450 divided by 1000 is equal to 0.45. So if you just see here, 450 hours it took me for 1,000 units. Okay, 450 hours it took me for 1,000 units. So basically it is 0.45 it took me to make 1,000 1 unit. To make 1 unit, it's 0.45. So per unit my cost is how much? 1.8. So how many units will I be able to make in 150,000 hours? So I can do this 1.8 divided by 0.4. It is 4. And if, okay, in an hour, okay, in an hour, if I am able to do, okay, if I'm in an hour, my cost would be 4 because per unit is 1.8. Per unit, I'm getting 1.8 and 0.45 or 0.45 is nothing but 60 into 0.45. It is taking 27 minutes. Okay, 27 minutes it is taking me to make 1 unit in an hour. So how many units can I make? So it is somewhere around 2 point something units I can make in an hour. But the cost of that will be $4. So per hour, my cost is $4. How much will it be for 150,000 hours? And that will be 150,000 into 4. Do we have an answer? 600,000. Yes, we have 600,000. So if you just see here, the amount of topics which we just did, okay, we just talked about job order costing and how is the question coming in. The question coming in is in a tricky manner. Okay, so if I just do this once again, what did I do first is I took these cost 1,000 and 1,500. This is my direct cost, which is not my overhead. And then I just removed it from per unit. I got 1.8 as my per unit overhead cost. Per unit overhead cost is 1.8. Now in one unit, I'm able to make it in 0.45 hours, which is 27 minutes. I'm able to do it in 27 minutes. How long will it take for me? How many units will I be able to create in an hour? What would be the cost of that particular hour? I found it out and I got it $4. Now, when I've got it $4 per hour as my cost, how many budgeted hours do I have? 150,000 budgeted hours. I multiplied 4 with 150,000 budgeted hours and I got my answer 600,000. Now, how was I able to do it is because of, a lot of practice, which I have been doing it earlier. But if you just see, if you have this conceptual clarity, it will take you some bit of a challenge. It will go through, you would be, doing some trial, some error you would be doing, and then at the end, you will be able to do it. So I hope that you guys are getting clarity on this, that what type of questions it is expected for you to in this. So let's just take one more question on the same job order costing. So when we read this requirement, using the departmental overhead application rates, total overhead applied to, okay, total overhead applied to job 231, okay, using the departmental overhead application rates. Okay, so tooling and fabricating department will be John Cheng, cost accountant of Starlight Company, is developing departmental factory overhead application rates for the company's tooling and fabricating departments, the production overhead for each department and data for one job are shown below. Okay. So data for one job is given to us, and we have to find out what overhead application rates only. Using departmental overhead application rates, total overhead applied to. Okay, so you're finding out what is the total overhead applied to it. So if we just see here, 231, job 231, it took us 12 hours or 12 hours in tooling and 3 hours in fabricating. This is simple only, right? The total budgeted overhead for tooling is 8625, and the direct labor hours for tooling is 460. So can I just do this on my calculator? 8625 divided by 460 is equals to 18.75, and then 16,120 divided by 620 is equals to 26. So simply what I can do is 12 into 18.75 and 3 into 26. 12 into 18.75 is equal to 25, which is this one. And then 3 into 25 is 75. So if I add these two, it will be 300. So I hope that 225, 300. No. 1 second. Did I do? Sorry, that's 26. Why did I multiply it with 25? 16,120 divided by 620 is equal to 26. So this, see, silly mistake. It's good that there is no answer related to it. Otherwise, I would have ticked it and gone ahead. 3 into 26 is equal to 78. So if this is 78, this is going to be, it's good that to calculate, 303. So let's just read this using departmental total overhead applied to job 231 in tooling and fabricating. Okay, so he's asking for both. If you would have asked for one, we would have gone with 225. Okay, so I hope that you guys are getting clarity over this. We have just completed how much we've just done up till job order costing now. So let's just go back towards our process costing now. We are done with this. Now we come towards process costing. Now in process costing, suppose, okay, let me give it clear to you guys. Suppose if your exam is nearby, okay, if your exam is nearby and you have not yet studied process costing, okay, if you have not yet studied process costing and your exam is nearby, then just leave it. But if suppose your exam is a bit far away, you have time for preparation. If you have a good time for preparation, then start your preparation here with me. So process costing is basically you are transferring goods from process A to process B to process C, and then it becomes a finished good, and then it is sold in the market. Okay. So when you are transferring from process A to process B, suppose you are making clothes, okay? Suppose you're making clothes. When you're making clothes, from process A to process B, you're forwarding. This is not considered as a sale. It is mere a transfer. Okay. So there is no profit or something added when you are transferring it from process A to process B, then process B to process C. This is simple. Okay. Finding out the good units out of these, all that stuff is pretty simple. But the challenge which comes in here in process costing is another concept called EUP, equivalent units production. Now, what is this equivalent unit production? Now, this is something which you find out when there is a closing, okay? Closing inventory, okay? Closing inventory, which is partially completed, okay? Which is partially completed. Now, closing inventory, which is partially completed, how are you going to account for it? That's the challenge. Here comes equivalent units of production. Now here, suppose if it is given in simple manner, the finished goods, okay? The finished goods are 100 units which have been done, but they are only 70% complete, 30% more is to be done. Okay, the finished goods are 100 in number, 70% is complete. So according to EUP, what will happen is you will take it as 70 units in your ending inventory. Simple. It is simple till here. What happens next is that you use different methods here. Okay, you use different methods like FIFO, weighted average. Now under weighted average, there will be another variable again in here. You are adding, okay, you are adding the stock, you're adding the stock, the material evenly throughout the year. Okay, when you're adding the stock evenly throughout the year, how are you going to account for it? Under FIFO also, if you're adding evenly throughout the year, how are you going to account for it? And then suppose if the products are added at the start of the production only, how are you going to account for it? Now, there is a particular percentage, like suppose under FIFO, if there is a beginning means ending inventory carried forward towards the beginning inventory, if it is already 40% complete in the previous year, what will happen is you will consider it as 60% complete, or you will account for this particular year as 60%. Whereas in weighted average, whether it is started or completed, whatever has happened, 100% you have to take it for this particular accounting year, or this particular process, or this particular period, you have to take it 100%. I hope you guys are getting this. Now in here, there are more details. For those more details, I would request you guys, whichever material you guys are following, go ahead, see what all are the descriptions given in there, write it down, make notes out of it. If your exam is a bit far away, give some time, give few hours of time, try making some short notes out of it and work on it. Okay, if you guys have time, do this. Now, this being a revision, and for those students who are going to give it in the nearby examination, let me go towards some questions. Okay, so let me just go towards some questions. Yeah, here we are. In fact, if you guys remember, in the last video which I made on this particular channel, I did a question of process costing only. Okay, now here let us just see the weighted average inventory cost per unit completed in October was. Where is my calculator? No, I'll use my phone only now. Mark Incorporation uses weighted average process costing system. Direct materials and conversion cost are incurred evenly throughout the process. During the month of October, the following costs were incurred: direct material, conversion cost. Conversion cost is nothing but labor and overhead. They both put together is called conversion cost. There is no new topic here, no new concept here. It's direct materials and conversion cost. The work in progress as of October 1 consisted of 5,000 units valued at 4,300 that were 20% complete. Valued at 4,300 with 20% complete. During October, 27,000 units were transferred out. Inventory as of October 31st is of 3,000, which is 50% complete. Now, he's asking what is during the month of October. So 27,000 plus 3,000 is 50% inventory as of 31st December. During October, 27,000 transferred out, fine. 3,000 were transferred, which was 50% complete. So 50% of 3,000 is 1,500. Now he's asking what is the cost of this particular month. So this is my cost, total cost. Yes or no? Now we have to take the cost. Now, in this cost, if you just see, direct material is there, conversion cost is there. So 39,700 plus 70,000. Now here also we have to add on one more thing, which is 4,300. Now what is this 4,300? This is my beginning cost, right? Beginning cost, we are 20% complete. Now, when we are taking weighted average cost, even if it is 20% complete, 30% complete, we have to take complete. The whole cost we have to take. So what do? I add 4,300 also. So let me just total this and then total this also. This total is 28,500 is the number of units. And this one will be how much? Let's just do it on the calculator. 4,300 plus 39,700 plus 70,000 is equal to 114,000. So 114,000 is my total cost divided by the number of units, 28,500. Then the per unit cost would be 114,000 divided by 28,500, which is 4. So do I have 4 as an answer? Yes, I have 4 as an answer. So basically, this was using weighted average process costing system. Now, in weighted average process costing system, you take that ending inventory as 100%, sorry, that previous ending inventory, which is your beginning inventory, treated as fixed 100% of the cost. I hope that you guys have clarity. And see, this process costing, you have to invest your own time onto it to come up with some, tables, charts, and then you will be able to understand. I can give you my tables and charts, but you won't be able to understand because you don't know how I tried to understand it and made it happen. Only I can understand out of it. So I would always request you guys also to make your own short notes out of it and try to understand it. So now I have my another question based on this, which is during December, Cross Chemical Company had the following selected data concerning the manufacturing of X, an industrial cleaner. Production flow was 100 units completed and transferred to the next department. Ending work in progress inventory is 10, which is 40% complete as to conversion, and the total units are 110. The beginning work in progress is 20, which is 60% complete. Units started during the December were 90. Fine. All material is added at the beginning of the processing in this department, and conversion costs are added uniformly during the process. The beginning work in progress had an inventory of, had an inventory of 120 of raw materials and 180 of conversion cost. Material added during the December was 540. And the conversion costs are 1484 were incurred. Cross uses weighted average process costing system. Weighted average again means we have to take 100%. The raw material cost in the ending working, he's asking only raw material, not the conversion cost. So basically, I have written it down also, 120 here and 540 here. So the total of this is how much? 660. 660 is my total here. So the total number of units transferred forward is 660 units. And the total units to account for is 110. So 660 divided by 110 gives me 6, which is the cost of it. But now what is he asking us? He's asking us what is the ending work in progress inventory only. Now, where is my ending work in progress inventory? Here is my ending work in progress inventory. Now, ending work in progress is there. Cost of the unit is also there. 6 into 10. Here's my answer. Is that clear, everyone? So I would always request you guys, if you're doing it for the first time, do as much as you can, practice as much as you can, make a lot of content out of it, do it by yourself. I teach this to the students on, a hand-holding basis. If you come into my live physical class here where I'm taking this class, if you come here, I can take those physical classes in here. You can join into it. So now let me just go back towards what were we doing here? Process costing. After that is activity-based costing. It's really, really interesting stuff for you, for everyone. Now, activity-based costing, you can understand this based on the traditional. See, why is this moving? Based on the traditional costing. Okay. Now, suppose the best example for this, which I keep on giving, is suppose I have a big shopping mall. In this shopping mall, I have 100 shops. Okay. In the shopping mall, I have 100 shops, and the maintenance for the whole shopping mall, which I get, is of 100,000. Now, this 100,000 of my maintenance cost, how should I allocate it to this 100 shops? Okay, how do I allocate it to this 100 shops? The answer straight would be 100,000 divided by 100. I can get an amount, and that amount, if I calculate my maintenance cost per shop like this, that is called traditional costing. Traditional costing, which is absorption marginal costing, something like this. But if suppose I look into what is the size of the shop, what is the size of each shop? If the shop is small, I allocate small amount. If the shop is big, I allocate big amount. If I do that on that basis, it is called activity-based costing. So based on how much you have incurred, I am costing you that much only. That's what is the clarity in here. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll go towards some questions related to it. So over here, let me just clear it off. Let's just go towards some questions. I had written it down that where those questions were. Okay, here are the questions. Yeah. Here is a question related to activity-based costing. Now, if you see this on the face of it, the budgeted cost to manufacture one ultrasound machine using activity-based costing method is. Now, this is a really simple stuff in front of you because there is no formula for it. There is just understanding this. Okay, it's just that you have to understand this type of questions and do it. Okay, now what is he asking? What is the cost to manufacture one ultrasound machine using activity-based costing? So let's just see. Pelder Products Company manufactures two types of engineering diagnostic equipment used in construction. The two products are based upon different technologies, X-ray and ultrasound, but are manufactured in the same factory. Pelder has computed the manufacturing cost of X-ray and ultrasound projects by adding together direct material, direct labor, overhead cost applied based on the number of direct labor hours. Okay, so he's allocating based on what? Direct labor hours. The factory has three overhead departments that support the single production line that makes both products. Okay. Budgeted overhead spending for the department is as follows, which is 6,000 for engineering design, 5,000 for material handling, and 3,000 for setup. Okay. Then Pelder's budgeted manufacturing activities and costs for the period are as follows. Units produced and sold is 50 and 100. Direct material use is 5,000 and 8,000. So direct material used is $5,000 and $8,000. Labor hours used 100 and 300. Direct labor cost 4,000 and 12,000. Number of parts used 400 and 600. Number of engineering changes 2, 1. Number of product setups 8 and 7. So if you guys have to just see this, this is a cost. Okay, this 5,000 and 8,000 is a cost, and I have to do my costing for an ultrasound only. So let me just take this 8,000 separately here. 8,000 is a cost. What is this cost? This is my direct material. And then I'll also take this 12,000, which is my labor cost. Okay. Then this parts used 600, number of engineering changes and number of production setup. These are apportionment basis. Okay, as I gave you the example of how much would be the floor space used in a mall. According to that, I can leverage, I can give them the maintenance cost. In that same manner here, this number of parts used, I can do it for my material handling. And this number of engineering changes will be for my engineering design. And this number of product setups will be for my setup cost. Okay, I can do this 14,000, state that, okay, 50 units, the 14,000, I have used this as my indirect cost for 50 units of X-ray and 100 units of ultrasound. I can just divide it on this basis. If I divide it on this basis, that is traditional costing, traditional method. But if I'm using activity-based method, what do I have to do here? I have to take, divide this on this basis. So let's just see this 6,000. First, let's just see 6,000. Number of engineering changes. It is 2 by 1. 2 is to 1. So what can I do here is I can just divide this, okay? 6,000 divided by 3. I get 2000. So I can write down here engineering design is 2000 for me. Because the total here is 3. 2 plus 1 is 3. So I divided by 3, multiplied by 1. I got 2000. Then comes what type of cost is there for me? Material handling. So 5000, what is my material number of parts used? This is 400 is to 600. 400 into 600 is basically 4 is to 6. 4 is to 6. So what can I do? 40% or 60% also I can do. So what can I do? 5000 into 0.6 or 60% it is for me. I'll put down 3000. 3000 is what? My material handling cost. And then afterward, that last is my production setup cost. So 8 and 7, 8 plus 7 is 15. So 3000 divided by 15 is equals to 200. And how many setups did I do? 700. So per setup cost was 200 multiplied by 7 gives me 1400. Now, what is he asking? Cost to manufacture one ultrasound machine. So I can total this cost and then divide it by 100 because I have just produced and sold 100 units. So let me just do that. 8,000 plus 12,000 plus 2,000 plus 3,000 plus 1,400 is equals to 26,400 divided by 100. It gives me 264. And yes, 264 is the answer here. So this was one question based on activity-based costing. Let's just do one more. Okay, now we have using activity-based costing. Which one of the following statement is correct? Okay, which one is the following statement which is correct? The chocolate baker specializes in chocolate baked goods. The firm has long assessed the profitability of a product line by comparing revenues to the cost of goods sold. However, Barry White, the new firm's new accountant, wants to use activity-based costing system that takes into account consideration the cost of delivery person. Listed below are the activity and cost information relating to two chocolate bakers' major product. So the revenue here is 53,000, 46,000, cost of goods sold 26,000 and 21,000. And then the number of deliveries 150, 85, average length of delivery 10 minutes here, 15 minutes here. Cost per hour delivery is 20 and 20 here. So what you guys have to do right now is check which statement can be right here. So if you just see here, 53,000 minus 26,000 will give me how much? 53 minus 26 is plus 27, 27, and 46 minus 21 will give me 25. 25 and 27, the difference between 2 is 2,000. 2,000 profitable. The option A is out of it. Then cheesecakes are $75 more profitable. Let us find out the cost of delivery for each one. Okay, the cost of delivery for each one. Let me just see. I am doing 150. Okay, 150 deliveries, and for each delivery, I'm taking 10 minutes. The 150 into 10, it is 1500. Now 1500 minutes I'm taking. So how many hours it is? 1500 divided by 60. It gives me 25. So I am taking 25 hours for this delivery. Okay, so 25 into 20, because 20 is the cost per hour. So 25 into 20 is equals to 500 is the cost here. And here, how much I'm taking? 85 deliveries. And to do 85 deliveries, I'm taking 15 minutes. Okay, 15 minutes I'm taking. 85 deliveries into 15 minutes I'm taking. So I'm taking 1275 minutes. 1275 minutes. How many per I just divided by 60, I get per hour. It will be 21.25. Okay, 21.25 hours I'm taking, and per hour I have to pay him how much? $20. So my cost here is 425. So let us just minus this, and this all. This cost of goods sold also, let me minus it. Okay, so let me just answer here. 53,000 minus 26,000 minus 500 is equals to 26,500 is my profit here. And then here 46,000 minus 21,000 minus 425, I get 24,575. Now the question here is, how much is more profitable? Who is more profitable? 26,500 minus 26,500 minus 24,575. 1925. So 19, the muffins are 1925 more profitable than these cheesecakes. Is that clear, everyone? So if you just see here, there's no formula which I have used. There's no rule-based something. It's more towards activity-based, how much they're using and how much we should be doing towards it. And now, I guess we've come towards the end of our topic, and that is life cycle costing. Now, under this life cycle costing, what is the major thing which you guys need to remember is that they talk about what are the upstream cost. Okay, upstream costs are also the costs which are to be considered for decision making. And also they talk about the downstream costs. These are also the costs which are to be taken into consideration while making a decision for a product to be sold or produced. So upstream cost is the research and development cost. These are the costs also to be taken into consideration for this particular thing. And downstream cost is the after sales things. These are also the costs which are to be taken into consideration while calculating your cost of the product. So now what we have done is we have come towards the end of this revision session, part 1 of cost management. This is part 1 of cost management. Then in the part 2 of cost management, we'll be highly focusing on variable costing, absorption costing, finding out profit based on absorption costing and variable costing, two major type of queries which many students have. So I'll be focusing on that and trying to solve all your queries on that too. I hope that this particular session, was helpful for you. This is the first session, and then there are many more sessions coming up your way. I hope that this adds value to you. And if yes, then put it down in the comment section, share it with a CMA US student, like this video, make sure that you like this video. I've seen thousands of people watching the video, but hundreds of likes. So if you're watching it, just give it a like so that this video reaches out to more people and more people get benefit out of it. And I hope that I'm covering everything. Anything to be said? Also that if you guys want to learn Power BI, Tableau, and if you are in Hyderabad, then there is a new batch starting for it. There are many batches, in fact, workshops and batches already going on. If you want to join in some of them, because I'm only conducting that especially for CMA US students. So if you want to join into it, you can join into it. Even online is available in the evenings. I keep taking those sessions. And if you want to join into the live physical class of mine, then part 1 is starting. You can join into it. It will be here in Hyderabad, Medipatnam area. I've put down some marketing stuff also related to it. If you found this particular session helpful, then I'll see you guys. If you found this helpful, then you would be coming in again, right? And I will be teaching you guys in the next session also. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next topic, which is cost management part 2. Thank you very much for watching.